There are things wrong with the game industry. There are things wrong with games. There are things wrong with who's making games or why they're being made, how they're being made, how they're getting out into the world, right? There are some very, very fucked up things about the game industry. And every year at the Game Developers Conference, and I've been going for a very long time, there are always rumblings in the corridors, discussions about dissatisfactions and disgruntlements here and there. And I wanted to have a session where all of those sort of angry subtexts that people talk about in the corridors between sessions are brought out on the surface.
I think that there is a widespread and largely unexamined belief in the game developer community and among a lot of gamers that computer games are evolving towards an infinitely detailed and utterly seamless simulation. That in fact this is their destiny, to evolve towards a kind of Star Trek holodeck, a totally a seamless simulation which is indistinguishable from direct experience. So that's the straw man that I want to attack. And it's not realistic graphics per se, but it's just this ideology of total simulation. So what's wrong with this? Like, why does the phrase, the player will be able to go anywhere and do anything, sound like nails on a chalkboard to me? It's partly because it's based in what I think is a very naive and unsophisticated understanding of how simulation works, of how representation works.
You hear a whole bunch of people bitching and moaning pretty hardcore about how their awesome game is not getting published by those jackass publishers who couldn't understand what a good game was, but fucking hit him in the head. Why nobody can see this is the next goddamn Grand Theft Auto? Why my producer sucks? What the hell is going on? Why am I not able to make my art, man? How are we finally going to get this independent games thing off the ground? And I used to really be into that. I used to really ascribe to that. I've given talks about that. But now all I can say is let's just stop fucking ourselves and realize what's actually happening here. All right? What's actually happening here is we don't have a good business.
I have to tell you, there's nothing better that can be done because the games industry is dead. When I say dead, I don't mean totally, completely dead. I mean merely brain dead. I mean, the heart's still pumping, the lungs are still moving, product is going out the door, money's coming in, people getting hired and fired. But when you look at it in terms of, you know, what's up here, there isn't anything up here. There's no creativity. There's no thought for creativity. There's no creative life in this industry at all. It's just a dead creature that just keeps pumping. And, you know, we put food in, shit comes out.
Why do we still have sessions in 2006 about attracting women to game development? Like, why is that even an issue now?
Hot chicks.
Hot chicks, exactly. You know, why don't we have our own Sundance or Oscars or award ceremonies? What is the state of games journalism? I don't know. It seems like I read a blog post every day about the state of games journalism, and I'm still no nearer to understanding what that state is. But ultimately, I really love games. And I know you all do too. And I think that what I want to say is every rant should have an action. So in other words, what's the point of us sitting around and talking about what's wrong if we don't actually go and do it?
Right about, and a bunch of things went through my head. One of the first things that went through my head was patents. And I was going to say, well, I can rant about patents and how if we're not really careful, that they'll be the end of the industry. But then I realized that the people in the audience are actually very intelligent here at the conference, and all the stupid people think that that's a good idea. So that would be a